Alright, hi, good morning. I'm Amber, and I'm very excited to be here today to update you guys on the proposal 2012-2013 California budget. As you guys are the North Orange County Community College Board and ultimately make the decisions what's best for your schools, your staff, and probably most importantly, your students. I'd like to start off by telling a story. About a year ago, when I was a senior in high school, about this time I was receiving all the different acceptance letters to various universities, and at the same time I received the results to my financial aid application. They labeled me as a child of the upper middle class and that my parents made a healthy enough of an income in order to support me fully throughout my entire 4 years of college. Basically, it just meant that I got zero federal and state aid. Sure, I got some loans, but the point of a loan is that you have to pay them back. I'm one of 3 kids, all of whom are going to school right now, and I knew I couldn't ask my parents to pay the $40,000 to $50,000 a year for the school that I wanted. So we thought about some state schools, UCs or Cal States. Again, Larry Diggs of the Director of Finance for EdSource, which is the leading educational research firm in California, states that it's taking an average of 5.5 to 6 years for students at state schools to graduate with their 4-year degree, which just increases the amount of time, of course increasing the spending. So I made a financial decision to attend community college for the first 2 years, and you guys have made the decision to take the education that you guys earned through hard work and spent dollars and use it in a career that is meant or is dedicated to the advancement of education for the younger generations. It's a completely noble act, but without completely and correctly understanding the proposed budget, giving the best of what you have to offer to your schools and ultimately your students is going to be an impossible task. So we know that. So I hope you find this information helpful because you guys have some very important decisions ahead of you. First, I'd like to start off by saying that according to Paul Takahashi, who is the editor of California Educational Summit, states that, or is finding that 35% of full-time students are dropping out, and only 7% of part-time students reach graduation. If we look at that in terms of a company, it's saying that only 7% of your company's product is profitable. Only 7% of your company's product is profitable. These are some reasons that they give for these statistics are increased fees. We know that we can't live completely on increased fees, and there's other things such as a current economic crisis or problems, but that's one of the major factors. We know, or you and I know, that the majority of community colleges get their income from the state budget, which can be dissected into saying that it comes from California taxpayers directly from their pockets. According to the California Senate Majority Caucus, it's saying that California is currently in a budget crisis and that they need to make some major cuts, $9.2 billion exactly. But how exactly does one person go and cut $9.2 billion out of your entire budget? It's not final yet because the state budget doesn't become official until probably around June. So all we have to work with right now are proposals. But one thing that we do know for sure is that education eats up most of California's budget. And though it might not be the best choice, it is logical to say that if education takes the biggest piece of the pie, it's going to take the hardest hits. Governor Jerry Brown in his 2012-2013 proposal states that he's planning to cut $400 million specifically from community colleges. That works out to be about $200 per student. Governor Jerry Brown knows that community colleges can't function with this type of deficit. So he has three different proposals that is going to keep the community college train on the track. First is a tax initiative, second is change on funding, and third is increased fees. So the first one, the November tax issue, if approved by voters, he proposes that wealthy Californians, anyone making over $250,000, would experience an increase in income tax, and temporarily all Californians would experience a quarter of a percent increase in sales tax. If this is approved by voters in November, then nearly $7 billion will be generated annually for 5 years, and it will all be set aside to help protect K-12 education, public safety programs, and, in your case, most importantly, community colleges. Then he has his second proposal for his 2012-2013 budget states that he's planning to remake the entire method on how community colleges get their funding. Currently, and in years past, it's stated that community colleges get allocated their money from the government directly based on the number of students accounted for on census day, which would be the fourth Tuesday of every semester. For every student accounted for, the school would be given a certain amount of money. He's decided, or he plans to hopefully change it, make it that community colleges would get their money from the government based on the number, or directly correlated to the number of students completing their courses. This seems somewhat fair. For every student that completes their course and every course that they complete, the school would get a certain amount of money. But Jerry Simons of Educational State Finance claims that this could be detrimental to certain schools, specifically those that are located in lower income areas. Lower income areas have higher dropout rates, not because students there typically have to support themselves through school. With lower dropout rates, those schools would be losing money. So, those schools would be losing money. So regardless of if all or any of these three proposals are implemented into the California budget, things are going to look extremely different a year from now than they do today. You guys have all been elected to this board, and now are faced with the challenge of finding a way to absorb the different financial changes and future cuts that are already on top of years past, and still make community colleges a springboard for students to launch themselves to the next level. Like I did last year, and I assume lots more students are doing this year, right now, is making a decision on what school they'll be attending to in the fall. And it's ultimately going to come down to them making a decision about community colleges. Regardless of the effects of the budget and the different cuts, we need to keep in mind that our job is to keep community colleges a viable option for all Californians. Thank you.